Today on What Went Wrong? When sex scares the shit out of you.
And that's some bullshit.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I made over 40 feature films, and some of them have had sex scenes. And today on What Went Wrong, we have the first person that got to take part in an on-screen sex scene in our film Bad Mojo. This was a film that wound up just being... We talked about this in other episodes, and it was just the film that never ended. We just kept on adding scenes and this and that. There were scenes that were cut, and then the whole thing would have been 4.5 hours long. And there was, it was supposed to be where your character, Thomas Leos, who had been in Last Blood, this was supposed to be sort of the capstone for his. It was taking Last Blood and merging it into that Innocent Saga Ponderous universe and really take it off with the vampires and everything. And Thomas was going to be a hero, of course, throughout, but he was going to be a vampire, a good vampire. And the way he was going to get turned was he was going to sleep with a vampire. So this was again one of those things where we had you for a week and locked you in the house. And those many of those scenes, which I call the Charles Dickens stories, because you kept on getting visited by ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. You were just sitting in the apartment, and we just had people coming and knocking on your door. There was Ruby, there was the girl that got killed from Barrio Angels, there was Scott.
Yeah.
And it just got to be too much, so some of it had to be cut. But then you go out to a bar and pick up a vampire who's also picking you up because you're supposed, it's part of their vampire scheme. And in advance, we're telling you, and you got it. You were like, I'm going to hit this scene out of the park, man. I'm ready. And Brad and I the whole time, and Brad and we were talking about this with Jeff, and Jeff was like, you didn't tell him, did you? I said, no. Brad and I were telling you the whole time. Now this isn't what you think. This is going to be really weird.
Man.
But you wouldn't listen to us. You were like, no, I'm going to hit this out of the park, man. This is going to be no problem. Tell us, how was that?
It was a problem. That's what it was. It was a problem. Man, it was weird. First of all, that girl was bad. I don't remember who she was, but she was bad. And so, I ain't never had no problem with that. I was enjoying that. I got to get into bed, baby. I got some practice at this, But I think at one point there was like too many people in the room.
Well, I was about to say, you got me and Brad. You got Brad of all people, sitting there, like probably holding the boom mic or lights.
He probably eating popcorn and like, we about to watch a porno. You know how Brad was. But it was weird at one point because I came in, I was like, damn, I thought it was just going to be like a camera. It's just me and her. No, it's you and you and you and you and you hold this. No.
Yeah, because her friend was there on set too. And...
I was like, it was too many people in here at first. So, but at that point, you know me, man. I'm the kind of dude where once it's game on, man. It's too far to go back, kind of a thing. So I came out all in my birthday suit, run and jump in the bed, get under the covers. What's up, baby? One of those kinds of things. And then we did the scene and everything was good. And it was like, cut. Yes. Do it again. I'm going to need a few minutes.
Now to make sure we back up here, you didn't actually have sex with her. I want to make people know that.
Well, not that they know about, you know what I'm saying? No. We did not actually have sex that night. No, we did not have sex. It was just a weird experience, man.
I remember specific parts, watching some of the raw stuff where you guys, you're in there and you got your groove going and you go, cut, hold on, okay, now back, I need that moan again.
Cut, I'm sorry, take it again.
From a psychological standpoint where, you're acting, and she's really into it, and you're thinking, she's moaning and everything, and I call cut. She's, oh, how was that? And then she just changes cold like that, and you realize it was all acting at that point.
Never in my life had nobody fake nothing like this before. So of course, the first time in my life I'm having somebody fake this for the first time in my life in a sex scene. I wanted to roll over and smoke a cigarette. So baby, how was it for you? No, it was just a weird experience, man. I mean, I don't think I've done another sex scene since then, quite honestly. Not necessarily, because I didn't want to or anything, but I think realizing that there's actually somebody else acting like we're having sex in this scene, and we did it a few times, man. I mean, it was, the more that we got into it, like you said, the more we kind of started feeling each other out and kind of getting into the moans and things like that, it started getting easier. But quite honestly, I think it was a little uncomfortable for her too, and I think at some point we might have had to stop and tape some stuff, and
well, remember, because we did, in order to have that seamless back, or the bare back. We had to duct tape her nipples.
We had to tape some stuff down, and
so like there are cuts where we got the other angle, and every now and then it would be a great shot, and all of a sudden there's the duct tape.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Now, from an acting standpoint, talking to other actors, can you give them any kind of advice when they're told to, when they know, okay, well, I've got to do a fake sex scene. One of the most intimate things that the two people can do to begin with.
Yeah.
Now you've got to fake it with almost a complete stranger. I mean, not that that's, but also to know that these people are watching, and then there's got to be that. Is there an imaginary line of some sort that you felt when you were acting, that I can't cross this, or an awkwardness line, I guess, that you wanted to make her comfortable?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think there was a few moments in there where, I mean, let's just be honest, right? Like you get in those moments and you kind of remember some times that you've been in those moments, and so you really try to bring that kind of energy. So I think there was a couple of times in there, like I legit wanted to kiss this chick, not because I'm making love, but it just felt like it based on kind of where we were in those moments. It just kind of felt like this is a good time where, maybe we should legitimately make it look like we're really into each other. And I think, just answering your question to answer, just go with it. Right? Just go with it. If she's not feeling it, she's not gonna let you know, because she's an actor. She's an actress, So, you just go with it. You get that shot, and I think for me it's always about trying to make sure that they're comfortable. So I kind of feel these little weird moments where I remember my mom kind of creeping in my mind, which is kind of weird when I'm in bed with this chick in this scene. But I remember my mom creeping in, like, be a gentleman, son. What I mean? So I'm like, Mom, how the hell am I gonna be a gentleman? I'm in the bed. So, it's just, just go with it. I think that's the easiest piece of advice that I can remember, is I just began to start kind of going with it at some point. And I think I remember at some point you were like, yes, perfect. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to get. And I think it kind of helped her also kind of realize that I was uncomfortable, but at the same time, I was comfortable with who I am. Mm-hmm. So let's just get the shot. And I think we ended up doing very well. Chemistry, I think, kind of came out very well together because we both just kind of went with it. And then chemistry should have been a lot better later on, but I wasn't paying attention. So, but yeah, it was. I think that's just the best advice I could say, is just go with it. Just be yourself. If you can remember, some of those times, maybe, try to pretend it's somebody that you were with before. I don't know. Just go with it. Yeah.
Now, fast forwarding about 10 years later, you were in a short film, a couple short films, and one of them, your wife was cheating on you with another man, and you caught them. So, what was going through your mind when William Ofebu, who was having sex with my girlfriend at the time,
my wife,
in the scene. Watching that, did you feel any empathy for them? Did you feel, because this was like this was only like the second film he'd ever been in.
Yeah.
Now we won't even talk about Christine. She was fine. She had no problem. She had been in a couple already, scenes already. But
Yeah.
But as for could you empathize with them with the two as we were having to shoot that love scene between them?
You know what's funny is when I go back and I watch that or I show that to somebody or something, I notice the way he's caressing her or kind of the way that you have him kind of caressing her and I can tell. It's so weird because I've been there. You know what I mean? Like I can legitimately tell. He doesn't want to overdo it. Yeah, I mean, you can see it. Like he's kind of very, he's timid even as he's. And I'm like, no, baby, you got to go in and get that, baby. You got to go get it. But you can kind of tell. And even there are even some parts where when the light comes on, you can kind of tell. He's just focused on trying to get his lines and make sure he don't touch her in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? Like you can legitimately see that once you've been in those positions. Like I couldn't tell it when I was watching it, obviously, when I was there actually filming it, but going back and actually seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, baby, I've been there, baby. I had to rub my hands all that. I didn't want to touch her up in there, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I did kind of feel for him, at one point. But then that was a great, by the way, that I forgot about that one too. Hal, I think is who was it Hank? Hal is who I played in that one too. That was a great scene. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I think that was the first time I realized how to be an actor, because I've never had it. I've never had any formal training. I've never gone to any acting classes, no schools, none of that stuff. But seeing that for the first time, I remembered, how am I going to bring this when I've never had this happen to me before? And I remembered putting somebody else in her shoes. And quite honestly, I think that's why I had such a hard time trying to deliver those lines, because that whole night that we were there, I was seeing my girl. You know what I mean? And it was really weird for me. There were so many other things that I wanted to say, so many other things that I wanted to do, so many other reactions that I wanted to have, So, but I think looking back to that moment, it made me realize if you're yourself and in the moment, that's when you can legitimately deliver what you're trying to deliver on. So when I saw those little nuances back when I actually watched it on video and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I get it, man.
Well, that's an interesting part. Because on the other side of that, I mean, you've been in several films, and this was the only time you had so much trouble with those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that, I was getting pissed.
Yeah.
I was getting pissed at that because I was so used to you showing up on Bad Mojo and Barrio Angels and me saying, hey, did you read the script? No,
Nope.
give it to me.
Nope.
All right, I got it. And you go. And then this time, you just couldn't remember the lines.
Yeah, I think that was legit. I think that was the first time I actually saw myself as an actor and having to put myself in a role that I had never been in before.
Was that because of that emotional attachment that's what was getting that?
Yeah,
and that disconnect.
I'll never say who that person was, that I was picturing there, but as I began to picture her there, again, it was just like, I don't want to read this script. There's so many other things that I need to say in this particular moment. If this is what I would say in this particular moment, it was like I was trying to be myself, but at the same time, I had to act like somebody who was not being myself. And
do you feel that was a turning point for you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, because not only that, but I also had to be an attorney. I had to be someone who knew this was going on, suspected it, and obviously as an attorney had to realize I got to figure out how to fix this, but I already know that I can't fix this at the same time. And it was so close to what I was putting in that scenario. It was like, I just can't get these lines, man. I can't. It's killing me. So, yeah, and then I was like, this is the first time I ever seen Brett pissed. I ain't never going to be in a film with this dude. He ain't never going to cast me again.
So how do you make that or resolve that? Because you don't have that problem anymore, correct?
No.
How did you get around that? How were you able to grow as an actor and make that connect to those emotions and those feelings, but yet disconnect personally, that you're able to pull the emotions but not get emotionally attached?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So you kind of touched on it a little bit. I'm a person, I never used to like to read the script. Because for me, I'm not a scripted person. You cannot tell me what to say. You cannot tell me what to do. I got to figure this out on my own. And so, as you know, I would show up and get on set, and I'd need about 30 minutes, and I'd run through the script, and then I'd get it, and I'd be able to go in and deliver. And that's how I've done even, going forward. But when I did that scene right there, I think that's the first time I realized I need to learn the script. Because if I learn the script, then I can begin to wrap my emotions around what those emotions are supposed to be, and I can either pull them back or I can go even a little further. And even since then, I've done scenes where I can cry on cue. Back then, if you had asked me to cry on cue, there's no way in hell I could have cried on cue. But now going forward, just after doing that one scene, I legitimately immerse myself in the script now, which is different.
Interesting. Do you think there was a moment? Do you think one of the reasons you wouldn't have been able to cry was because, I think we both know that you were a performer, not an actor at that point. Mm-hmm. And do you also think there was a sense of pride in that, a little machismo?
I was a hip hop artist, man. I mean, my hat was sideways, baby. There was definitely a lot of pride in that. I think a lot of pride went into why I was trying to turn you down at first. Like, I can't be no actor, man. Music is my thing, I didn't know how to be an actor. I didn't know what being guided towards what my calling is, or whatever that looks like. And so yeah, there was definitely a lot of pride behind that. There was a lot of pride that came out even as I became an actor with you, with you in some of the films that you did. And we talked about, me acting like a diva, and so yeah, pride was huge back then. And even going back to the sex scenes, I think pride played a lot of that too. Dudes, we always, yeah, baby, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get in the bed, baby. And then when you get into it, it's kind of like, damn, man, this is fake. So yeah, pride definitely had a lot to do with it. And being able to let go of the fact that I don't need to be a proud actor because I'm not an actor, right? I'm a person with a script in my hand that just has to learn this philosophy and then just kind of give you something. And that's what I began to kind of start doing as I began to progress from there. And so I started reading scripts, showing up on set and actually knowing my character and, knowing how I could change, verbiages and, how I say things. And so I really, really grew from that moment alone. It was incredible. And one thing that you don't know is after we shot that, I probably cried for about a half a day after that, man, because it was real for me. Mm-hmm. I legitimately put myself in that situation because I was in that situation. You know what I mean? And I think maybe that's where the growth came in, is where when I, in my hotel room or wherever I was at, man, I was just like, I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe I messed up that scene. Second of all, this is real, baby. Why you cheat on me? And so that, I think that really helped me zone in on, be focused. If you got to cry, be focused on the fact that it's time to cry, not because you went through that experience or whatever, but draw from that experience that you went through. So yeah, it was good, man. I learned a lot.
Yeah, it's tough, especially in crying. It's tough to let go of that. I mean, and there's been a couple scenes where I've had to do it, and in the Innocent Saga, I'm still pissed to this day, which is why I'm bringing it up. But after Diane, my partner, is killed, played by Ryan. Yeah. I have that. I come across her body, and I stumble to the ground, and I cry. And Brad had to shoot it because I'm acting. I can't. We shoot it. I take it back home. It's out of focus. Oh, I was so pissed. So I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the issues, and that's one of the reasons that I just don't step in front of the camera that often anymore.
Yeah.
Even this recent film, there was
I
a
noticed
performance
that
I had, and I was out of focus. So I'm reshooting it this weekend in a different context. But I was like, son of a bitch, got it out of focus.
What's funny is I thought about that this weekend. I didn't want to say too much, but I remember from way back in the day, was that 2002, 2003, somewhere around there, whenever that was. I remember when we would work together, we were always together. Like, we would always work together, even in the music video. Mm-hmm. Like, you even set it up in that one music video there. We did several music videos, but there was that one music video that we did where you, because it was part of the film, like you wrapped yourself into the film, and like at the very end of the music video, you're watching this music video. I got Baby Bash in the video, or whoever the hell's in the video. I don't remember. But I remember it's like a legit music video, right? Like, it's like, yeah. And then at the very end of the video, I open up this door, and then there you are, with the red sash and the trench coat and everything, and it just ties everything together. And it was just like, it's like, man, and I remember this past weekend when we were working on this new film. I was like, man, I wonder how come Brett's not in this film. And I loved it when you pulled me to the side and you were like, so there's going to be a change. And I was like, great. I ain't playing the main dude no more or what? What's the deal? I'm going to be your partner. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yes. Yes.
And but I do remember you were like, I don't know how I'm gonna not having Brett in the black coat and the red sash. But then what happened when I stepped on set? I got the old duster and the red dust rag.
Same thing. Same thing. He's dressed the same way in the black and the red. It's like we're always meant to be together, man.
Did we get him?
I think
we got them all in this town.
so. It's a little nod that nobody really picks up.
You know what's funny? I didn't pick it up till you just said something about it. I mean, obviously, being back with you again was great. Sitting across from the table from you, I love working with you. I love your mannerisms. Like they carry me, man. You know what I mean? Because we've done so much stuff together, and so that particular scene, sitting there being on set with you, I was excited. I think it changed me a little bit more because I was like, man, hey, shout out to Hiram Abiff. Hey. That's my little buddy, Hiram Abiff. Shout out to Hiram Abiff. That's my boy. He came with me. He's my travel partner. But anyway, shout out. But no, it was great, man. It was great sitting across from you again. It was really, really great. And I didn't recognize the black and the red until you just now said something about that. And in that scene, or in this film, there was a scene where I was thinking about, should I put on a black sash or a red sash? And it was funny because I was like, man, that's like kind of black and red with Brett. And I thought about it, like, quickly. I thought about it, and then here we are at the table, and you just now brought it up. That is crazy. I can't escape this fool, man. It ain't no chance.
So, in hindsight, would you have done anything differently on the Mojo Project?
I wouldn't have cast me.
Well, it was the conclusion to that character, or it was going to be catapulting him into a different area.
Yeah.
And now we, and full disclosure, we had a little bit of a separating back then.
Yeah, we did.
I've apologized on a couple of these to Brad. The way when that nightclub fell through, and the way I kind of threw him. I don't want to say I threw him under the bus, but I threw him under the bus. And I know that was a rift. But that caused me to in one cut of because we couldn't come back and get you to shoot the big final confrontation, so we had to have you get killed by the vampire that you were sleeping with.
The body of Detective Leos had apparently been mauled by some kind of wild animal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little mad about that, obviously. So we had that, but we talked it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it was certainly I took full credit for that. It was my pride. That was back when my head started kind of coming out here, and I had groupies and people I'm signing autographs for, and that was my first exposure. And here I've been in my music industry since I'm like this big, and nobody's approaching me to ask for autographs and stuff. And we did the Blockbuster video thing, and it was just kind of like who does this dude think he is? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the star of that show, and that wasn't the case. And obviously that's just kind of not how I saw it, but. But whenever we worked through that, I think, that's when I began to learn to keep my pride out of it, So I thank you for that, man, because, I began to realize, it's very important to keep your pride aside, show up and do what show up and do what the director asks you to do. You're just the actor, you know what I mean? It's their project. It's what they have, in mind, and you're only bringing what they expect you to bring. And so if you bring anything extra or anything like that, if they accept it, cool. If they don't accept it, don't bring it. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot, man. I definitely learned a lot from working with Ponderous, and
that's what it always was a learning experience for us all, and that it makes me very happy to that you're back. You came back in 2009, I think. Wasn't that long of a break, but you're here because just like me, just like anybody else that's still with us, we all grew.
Yeah.
People that got left behind didn't grow, and that's something I think we should all be proud of and take credit for. That hey, we see what we were, and I've said I've said on camera on these episodes before my fault in that, and where I went wrong in that. And I think that's what makes us better people, is accepting that we made mistakes, understanding why those mistakes were made, what we did in the first place, and growing and becoming better people for it.
Growth, man, it's important, man. I owe a lot to you, because of my growth. I look back at my IMDb page, Carlos Leos, Leos, IMDb. And I'm like, man, it's, you know, a lot of the stuff I did, man, you know, I wouldn't be where I am right now had I not worked on, you know, the sets that I did with you. I wouldn't have learned some of the things that I learned. So I certainly owe a lot to you. You know, I everywhere I go, I say that, you know, had I not been on these films, I would not be the person that I am today with regards to the entertainment business. So shout out to Brett Mauser.
Well, thank you. And I must also say, you know, I don't know what those, you know, what that period of my life would have been like in that Last Blood trilogy without you being there to play Thomas Leos to thread them all together.
Glory be to God, man. Good stuff.